Squirrels! So hello, and welcome to another Legends of Runeterra video. My name is Chris, and today, as you can see, we've got Kindred right here for you to go along with NASA's yesterday. So let's see what we've got in store right now. Let's go.
Never one.
Without the
Slay.
other. Shall we, dear wolf?
Kindred is a 5-mana 4/4 quick attack. The first time you slay a unit each round, I mark the weakest enemy. Round end, kill my marked enemy. The first time you slay a unit each round, I mark the weakest enemy. Round end, kill my marked enemy. Wow. I've seen you slay 2 of my marked enemies. Wow. Okay, first impression is that seems pretty good. But we shall go on and see what happens when Kindred levels up.
I'm ready, little lamb. I smell prey.
Lamb's Respite. 2 mana slow speed, give the weakest ally. I can't take damage or die this round. Interesting. What would you use that on? I suppose if you only have 1 unit, of course, you can sort of just protect a unit somewhat continuously.
Threads of fate, unraveled and rewoven.
Kill a unit, then revive it for 5 mana straight up. Wow, so obviously we've got some Anivia synergies in there straight away. Obviously Rekindler synergies potentially as well. Obviously there could be more synergies right now as well. Wow. Oh, it resets level up.
Shadow like dappled sunlight.
That was fun. Who will we chase now?
So Kindred, leveled up. First time you slay a unit each round, grant me 2/2, and I mark the weakest enemy. So it just grant me 2/2 as well, and round end still kill my marked enemy. Wow. So this is just, again, just an absolute stat stick beatdown with quick attack. Wow, so this whole theme with Nasus and Kindred is just build these absolutely massive statted units. But I mean, this to me like has every making of now. Just like, to me, like, this definitely feels like a deck now. You can 100% make a deck around this with Atrocity, because now you have 2 very good Atrocity targets. Even if you put the Undying in as well, you might have 3 very good Atrocity targets. This all feels like a very nice, like, combo sort of. I don't know. It's a combo deck for a finisher, but it kind of plays out more mid-range, I guess. Very interesting. Very
Good one,
interesting.
dear wolf.
Hunted down.
With grace and precision,
Here the chase ends.
more lie ahead.
Okay. Very interesting reveal. I will be coming back to you in but a couple minutes in my time, and right away for you, as we reveal all the cards that came out today on Mobalytics. Okay, so you rejoin me as we are just about to have the new cards revealed. Here they all are. Of course, we've already seen Kindred and Spirit Journey we saw in the video as well, although that is Kindred's signature spell. Important to consider, of course, and we will be coming back to those cards and talking about them a bit more. But first, the cards that we haven't seen. Lamb's Respite we saw as well. So Spirit Leech is a 4-mana 4/1. Play, kill an ally to draw 2. Wow. On a 4/1. Man, that's interesting. That is really interesting. Of course, it has some very good synergies within Shadow Isles. It's another way to kill things. It goes very well with the Undying. But I'm sure there'll be more things that it goes with as well. But on first idea, like, yes, it is a 4/1, so yes, it probably isn't doing too much on the board wise. But it doesn't matter. You've drawn 2 cards, right? And as long as you've got something that's, you know, good to kill, then that's absolutely fine. You know, Particularly Undying comes to mind because, of course, Undying is 3 mana, and this would be a nice turn 4 play. It's a pretty good defensive card. Anytime you see something like a 4/1, it's much better defending than it is attacking, of course, because anything could trade into it as you attack. But, you know, this could trade up in a lot of situations and have drawn 2 cards. So, really interesting card. I think probably will only go in certain decks, but definitely Undying decks will play this, I think, and maybe you know, these other decks with Kindred and Nasus might play this as well. The Ether Fiend is a 7 mana 6/4. Kill an ally to kill an enemy. Whoa, and it's got fearsome. Wow. So again, I mean, a pretty good ability overall. Wow. 7 mana. And that's pretty good, right? This is something we haven't really seen in Shadow Isles, so it's a bit odd. We've seen Shadow Isles aggro, and we've seen Shadow Isles control, but there hasn't been too much Shadow Isles mid-range that I can remember. But this very much feels like, you know, mid-range. This is mid-range, you know, a 7 mana card that's doing that. Yeah, that's like a mid-range ability, right? A decent one, and very Shadow Isles, of course. But yeah, really, really cool abilities here. And the Ether Fiend, will probably find decks. I imagine, again, stuff like Undying is crying out for something like this. That's exactly what something like the Undying needs, in my mind. And it's also, you know, like it picks something off, and then, you know, it's a threat as well. A 6/4 with fearsome, you know, it's probably gonna either trade into something of a decent cost and or, you know, trade into 2 things, which is really nice. Fading Icon. When I'm summoned, summon a prey. What is a prey? A prey is just a simple 0/1 0 mana that you can't main deck, it looks like, which is probably good. Well, I suppose it's kind of similar to the 1/1, right? The Pesky Spectre. When I'm summoned, summon a prey. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to put down this prey, and of course it's a nice thing to sacrifice. Now you can compare this, and I think the best comparison would be House Spider. And this is probably, you know, overall slightly worse than House Spider because of the stat distribution. And it just has 1 less stat overall, right? But House Spider is really good. And Shadow Isles loves this kind of thing. This is exactly, you know, the kind of thing that Shadow Isles needs. So this, I think, will be a very good card as well for these decks. It's exactly, you know, because this as well is something that you can quite happily sacrifice to your better cards. Yeah, this seems like something that you'll definitely, again, want to be playing. Mask Mother is a 2 mana 2/2 with fearsome. Kill an ally to grant me its stats and keywords. Ooh. Well, that is a really interesting card. Where do you play that? Kill an ally to grant me its stats and keywords. Of course, again. So if you do this with Undying, it gives it can't block. But then you... So that's a really interesting one. And if you use it with Curse Keeper as well, you get can't block. I think, right? Or does it not grant negative keywords? I'm not sure. Because some things, you know, say that, but they don't mean negative keywords. Like Plunder Power, right? Grant me 2 keywords. Doesn't include the can't block and the like. So I'm not sure if that counts, because if it doesn't, then again, this is a very good card to have in Undying, because your Undying gets the 4/4/5/5. All of a sudden you got a 2 mana 7/7 with fearsome. Yes, please. That killed the Undying as well and gives you, you know, an extra trigger. That's pretty good in that, as long as it doesn't get can't block, which I'm fairly sure it won't, because other effects like that don't give negative keywords. So I'm pretty sure that they'll stick to that. But what else could you use on? Really, really interesting. Like, what would you want to sacrifice that has, you know, good keywords to have? Like, I can't think of anything that has, like, Overwhelm or Elusive that is just, like, you know, something you'd be very happy to sacrifice. Like, if it's got good stats and a good keyword, why would you want to sacrifice it? I think. So I think my main point is here, this is probably going to be, and it's a 2 mana card that you probably don't want to play until, I mean, is it though? Like, I mean, I'm picturing in my head like a Bark Beast Pesky Spectre, my old pesky aggro deck, and I feel like this would go in there. You know, you sacrifice Bark Beast or whatever that might be a 3/3 already, and you have a 5/5 fearsome on turn 2. Like, think about it. You go Pesky Spectre, Bark Beast. You make your Bark Beast a 3/3. You hit them for 4. Then you play this, which gives you a 5/5 Fearsome on 2. Killing the Bark Beast. Is that not pretty good? It seems decent at the very least. Very interesting card. Very, very, very interesting card. Unto Dusk is a 2-mana burst speed spell. Draw 1. Good straight away. Nightfall. Activate an ally's Nightfall effect, ignoring any targeted portions. So I'm guessing there is something broken if you target something. And that's why that little line of text is in there. Nightfall. Activate an ally's Nightfall effect. So, this is like making Stygian on... So does the... Oh. So is this like... Could you use this with Doombeast and like drain 2 again? Is that how that works? Because is that targeted? I wouldn't think that's targeted. It works for Stygian Onlooker as well. What are the targeted ones? Nocturne? Is that what that's designed to stop? Nocturne, I guess. I think. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Activate an ally's Nightfall effect. I feel like Doombeast is the best one. You can get Crescent Guardian to be a 7/3 overwhelm, which is pretty nice. You can get Stygian Onlooker to be the Fearsome and the 4/1 attacking again. Which at burst speed is pretty nice, considering you're drawing a card anyway, right? You know, if you got that Stygian Onlooker that's kind of sitting there as a 2/1 and not doing much, all of a sudden you can turn it back into that 4/1 Fearsome and make it a threat again. That's pretty nice. And you're drawing 1 as well, so it's perfectly fine, right? Yeah, that seems like a definite card for those decks. 100%. 2 more cards here. Or even 1 more card. Song of the Isles. Looks like Mark of the Isles, but, you know, red. Is a 2-mana burst speed spell. Grant an ally lifesteal, fearsome, and ephemeral. What a cool card. So, my first idea for this was Ledros. You know, the lifesteal is pretty good. He already has fearsome. And of course, ephemeral will kill him, so that therefore he comes back into your hand, right? That was my thought there. My first thought with that. But there must be something else. What don't we mind dying? Undying. This is an Undying card. You get the lifesteal from Undying. It's ephemeral, so you don't care. And it has fearsome all of a sudden, so that they can't block it. It's a perfect Undying card. We're seeing a lot of Undying synergies here. Or am I missing something? I feel like we are, right? That has to be an Undying synergy card right there. Perfect for Undying. You get 4 or 5 life back, which is what you need because you've got units that can't block. You give it fearsome, which is good because now, you know, it's basically gonna deal damage to the face unless they want to sacrifice something that's good. And ephemeral, it's gonna die as well and give you the extra thing. And the second death is just the skill from the other Fiend here. Wow, so we've seen some really, really interesting cards. Wow. I mean, I like Shadow Isles as a region, and this just kind of opens up a lot of doors. Undying is the thing that's like sticking with me and in my mind, but there's definitely, you know, you could go without Undying and They Who Endure type stuff as well. Definitely stuff like Spirit Leech, of course, trying to find your They Who Endures. Right, that seems pretty good. But wow. Finding the right ratios of, you know, how much prey stuff do you want? Like, how many things do you want to die, right? And how many things do you want to kill things is going to be like an interesting mix. Which ones do you pick? You know, does Butcher go in the deck? Do you have Ethereal Remitter? You know, it's like, do you put Spirit Leech in instead? Like, it's all very interesting. And I don't know, is the honest answer. It might just come down to curve. To be honest. So let's go back to Kindred and talk about Kindred, because I think this is obviously what most of you are here for. And I think Kindred overall is strong. Like, just his ability alone, right? The first time you slay a unit, the cards that we've seen, you know, that's going to not... That should happen. You know, that's not going to be a problem. Particularly within Shadow Isles where you have Glimpse and other tools as well. Within Shurima, it's a bit more difficult because there isn't those other tools outside of what we saw yesterday as much. There's some vulnerable tools, I guess. But in Shadow Isles, of course, there's loads. That's what the whole region is based around, right? So slaying a unit each round shouldn't be hard at all. He's a 4/4, so that's not a small stat line either. And it's not like he strikes them or whatever. It's kill. It's just kill the weakest enemy at the round end. That seems really good. It's basically, if you don't remove Kindred by even the second turn he does it, the value he has gained is insane. And that's if you've got the best... No, that's if you've got 4 mana Thermo Beam and I don't have anything to save Kindred. You know, that's the ideal for you. And he's still... Even if this goes off twice, that's an insane amount of value. And then as he levels up, I mean, I've seen you slay 2 units with my mark. Again, if that happens and you get leveled up Kindred, it doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter. You've gained enough advantage at that point already, in my mind. You've killed 2 units for free. That's insane. That's just insane. Like any mid-range game, Kindred will take over if you don't deal with him straight away. Like the instant he comes on the board, he will just take over the game. And that's my thought on Kindred. Any card that does that, and is still a threat with the quick attack as well, and then grows to an incredible amount, must be good. Simply must be good. And then, do the killed units count for Slay for Nasus as well? Because if they do, we've got some neat synergies going on here. This is going to be, you know, I mean, if Nasus is growing, like, you're slaying a unit each round, so he's going up, like, 2 a round as well, it's not going to take long if you've got Kindred and Nasus down. He's going to be big very quick. This is all very exciting. And putting the deck together already seems like a tough choice. Often with these, when, you know, especially new regions come out, you know, it can be difficult to imagine exactly, you know, how you're going to fill the deck up with cards and finding enough synergistic cards, you know, eventually. But at this point, but with these, this deck is like, how do I cut down these 15 extra cards that I've got in it? In my mind, it's like, which ones do I keep in and which ones do I let go of? Because Kindred seems definitely worth the build around. And I like that you can definitely play him with other stuff. You can basically just play any mid-range deck, you know, that has some way to slay, which isn't too hard because you can just use challenges or vulnerable or anything really. Like, this could even be, honestly, TF Go Hard might play Kindred. Wow, that's actually interesting. It might play Kindred. I know Elisa's good, but it might do. It really might do. Because slaying a unit with all of your Go Hards and whatnot, you know, you can do every so often. Maybe you could put more vulnerable package in it and then, you know, slay that way. And then Kindred's just going to take over for you. And now you've got, you know, both Twisted Fate and Kindred that you're probably going to need to deal with. And they're both got to win the game for you. That seems pretty strong. If kegs count as well, then forget about it. Forget about if kegs count as slaying. I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. Anyway, let's just quickly go over the other cards then. So Kindred, I'm giving a massive check mark to. I think he's very, very... Is it a he? I should probably check that as well. If it's not, let me know. Which one is Kindred? I assume it's this. And the wolf is kind of like a friend. I assume it's this thing with the bow. But it could be something else. And if it's not a he, let me know. Or if it's an it or whatever, let me know. Because I have no idea. Spirit Journey as a card is an interesting card, but I'm not sure where you'd best use it. To me, it seems like it's best used on your own things. But then it's just a bad Chronicler of Ruin. Like, killing their unit and reviving it, the only time I can think, like, that's definitely worth it is obviously if you're going to lose the game if they hit with their attack, right? Obviously. But, like, if Fiora is on, like, maybe 3 or 4, then that's probably worth it, resetting the counter. It's an interesting card that it resets champions' levels up. But otherwise, I don't really see it. Lamb's Respite, again, it does let you, like, use it on something weak and then, you know, sacrifice them and they don't die. But I don't really think that's even what you necessarily want to be doing. The fact that it's slow and it's your weakest ally Maybe you could use this in like all-in Fiora, but I don't think Shadow Isles is where you want to be playing that. So I don't really see Lamb's Respite getting played. Spirit Leech definitely will find some homes, whether it's They Who Endure, whether it's Undying, whether it's just this package in general. Definitely. Any card with draw 2 on it that costs, you know, less than like 6 mana will probably definitely at least see some experimentation. The Ether Fiend is a very interesting card as well and could very well see play. As I say, kind of like this it might go in slower decks even than this. It definitely could see a lot of play because it's just a very strong ability in general. You know, just choosing to kill something straight up is pretty good. It might be a bit late for it to see play in like every deck, but definitely in some it will make the cut. Fading Icon, similar type thing. Just seems pretty good in general. Basically gives you 2 things to just happily sacrifice. Might not be as good right now because, you know, if you play this on turn 3 and then they go turn 4 Twisted Fate and red card, then you feel pretty sad. But aside from that, you know, it seems pretty good. Mask Mother, very interesting card. Don't know the best way to play this. I'm sure some of you will already have many synergies in your mind. As it seems like a very interesting card and a card that will see play. I'm pretty sure this is a pretty good card. But we'll see. I'm sure there's something I'm missing. There's some synergy point. There's some card that it makes sense to do with that has a good keyword as well, like an Overwhelm or an Elusive. You know, that you don't mind sacrificing. I'm sure there is one. I just can't think off the top of my head. Unto Dusk, again, anything with Stygian and Doombeast, which is quite a few decks, definitely runs this card, I think. In fact, the Fearsome deck that does run both of those cards, by the way, you know, Pale Cascade was kind of their little Allegiant flip. They might not need it anymore. It might just be decided that just pure straight up Shadow Isles with this is just better than even splashing anything else and just getting the 100% guarantee allegiance. That I could very well see that being the case. And it would not shock me because we're getting to the point now where these allegiance decks, you know, we're getting enough cards for each region where, you know, you can just run enough good cards in one region. Song of the Isles seems like an Undying card to me. There's probably, again, some other synergies, but it definitely seems like an Undying card. Could be used with some other stuff that you don't mind dying. Could be used defensively as well, which is pretty nice. You know, to help save you and get the lifesteal and whatnot. So it's a decent card in the right deck, but needs to find the right deck. And that's all of the cards. Very interesting day. I am very, very intrigued to play this archetype because, as I say, I don't know what the deck cuts down. I don't know what... It seems like there's too many cards to put in this deck already. I was having trouble with it yesterday before this came out. So... God knows what I'm going to do now, but I think it's super, super interesting, and I cannot wait to play around with Kindred and Nasus. I think it's going to be a really fun, cool deck, and yeah, let me know what you guys think. I hopefully haven't missed out on too much. I'm sure there's some things that you will be able to think of. Please let me know in the description below, and yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with more card reveals. A lot of champions going around, so I'll be back tomorrow. Have a really nice day.